Thank you so much for joining us for our afternoon porch talk. I'm Dr. Jawan Johnson, the Robert Francis Ings Interim Director of the Lemon Project, A Journey of Reconciliation. And before we get started, I'm going to read our land acknowledgement. William and Mary acknowledges the indigenous people who are the original inhabitants of our land, the lands our campus is on today. The Cherahawk-Nottoway, Chickahominy, Eastern Chickahominy, Mattaponi, Monacan, Nansemond, Nottoway, Pamunkey, Patawamek, Upper Mattaponi, and Rappahannock tribes, and pay our respect to their tribal members past and present. And I'll also read our labor acknowledgement. The Board of Visitors acknowledges that William and Mary enslaved people, exploited them and their labor, and perpetuated the legacies of racial discrimination. The board profoundly regrets these activities, apologizes for them, expresses its deep appreciation for the contributions made by the African and African American members of its community to the vitality of William and Mary, then, now, and for all time coming, and commits to continue our efforts to remedy the lingering effects of past injustices. This afternoon, I have the pleasure of introducing our guest speaker, Dr. Terrie Gaskins-Bryant, whose presentation is Family History at the Hanna African American Cemetery of Lake City, South Carolina. She previously had the opportunity to join us at our genealogy research roundtable, where we had a conversation about preserving African American cemeteries, um, galvanizing communities in the process, and also the power of sharing these stories. And she's going to hit on some of these points today, points that I believe are of interest of everyone here. But I will start with her biography. Dr. Gaskins-Bryant is a family historian and a descendant of families interred at Hanna African American Cemetery. As founder of St. Teresa Community Outreach and Empowerment, she leads initiatives to preserve African American heritage through genealogical research, cemetery restoration, and educational programs in partnership with Marion University Department of History and the Lynches Lake Historical Society. Dr. Bryant focuses on connecting descendant communities with local history to foster resilience, collaboration, and reparative practices. So I invite you to give a virtual welcome to Dr. Gaskins-Bryant as she talks about this really important, critical part of her local history in South Carolina.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. I certainly appreciate everyone. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining me today. My name is, as Dr. Johnson stated, is Terrie Gaskins-Bryant, and I am honored to share the story of the Hanna African American Cemetery in Lake City, South Carolina. It's a place where family, memory, and history come together. I want to begin with this question. What does reconciliation look like on sacred ground? Not in theory, not in policy, but in real place where people are buried, remembered, and sometimes forgotten. That's the question that brought me and many others back to this land. The Hanna African American Cemetery is a historic burial ground connected to formerly enslaved and post-emancipation African American families. For generations, this land held memory, but over time it became overgrown, unmarked in places, and largely unseen. And yet, it was not lost. It was waiting. This cemetery is not just a place, it is a network of families. Through shared surnames, land records, and histories and genealogical research, We can trace connections across generations. These are not isolated individuals. These are families linked by blood, land, and legacy. For years, this cemetery existed in plain sight, but not fully recognized. Overgrowth covered graves, markers were difficult to see, and documentation was limited. But what may appear hidden is often still deeply known by the community. Returning to the site is both physical and emotional. It means walking the land again, listening, observing, remembering. And for descendants, it means reconnecting, not just with a place, but with our ancestors. One of the most important aspects of this work is that it's descendant-led. This is not preservation done to a community. It is a preservation led by those connected to it. That changes everything. It ensures that the work is guided by respect, memory, and lived connection. We are also joined in this work by students and alumni from Marion University in partnership with the Lynches Lake Historical Society. Their involvement brings education, service, and new energy to the site. But more importantly, it creates a bridge between academic learning and community history. This is more than a cemetery. It is a historical record, a cultural landscape, a place of memory, identity, and belonging. And in many cases, it is one of the only remaining connections to ancestors whose stories were never fully written down. So what begins to emerge from this work is something larger. It is a model, a descendant-led approach that brings together genealogy, land history, preservation practice, and community engagement. It is not imposed from the outside. It grows from the people connected to the place. And because of that, it is both sustainable and meaningful. Reconciliation is not just a word. It is a practice. It looks like returning to the land, restoring dignity, reconnecting families, protecting sacred ground, and it requires commitment over time. I want to leave you with this. We can restore dignity to those whose resting places have been neglected. We can reconnect families to land, memory, and lineage. We can recover histories that were never formally recorded. We can protect sacred ground through a descendant-led stewardship. We can bring visibility to lives once overlooked. We will. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gaskins-Bryant, for this wonderful presentation. Now, we would like to open it up for discussion. You may have questions. This is an interactive session, so we invite you to ask our guest speaker questions about the process of preserving cemeteries. Maybe you want to know about genealogical research, her findings. There may be even some family connections. We have Vicki McGill here with us. She has a question. Good to see you, Vicki. You can unmute yourself, I think. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Okay, awesome. Dr. Gaskins Bryant, question. So Lake City, I'm a Williamsburg County researcher, and Lake City at one point was in Williamsburg County. Do any records of any of the people who are buried there, do they ever show up in Williamsburg County, like in 1870, 1880, anything like that?
Yes, ma'am, they do. And as you stated, Lake City was once Williamsburg County. I think up until, I'm a guess, maybe 1927, it turned into Florence County.
Yeah.
So a lot of my research came from Williamsburg County King Street Courthouse,
Yes.
and then Florence County Courthouse, remnants there. And basically, like you said, it's from Williamsburg County. All of the records came from there. Yes, ma'am.
Are you or are any or is anybody who's connected to it DNA tested?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And Miss Vicki McGill, I am on your research team and
Okay.
that you have. But yes, the answer to your question is yes. When you say anybody, you're talking about at the cemetery level or
Anybody who descends from somebody at the who was buried at that cemetery.
okay, my grandmother.
So
Okay.
she's DNA tested, or you're a descendant.
I'm a DNA tested, right? From my maternal side, right? My maternal side, right? I understand what you're saying. No, my grandmother, that was years ago.
Okay.
So, right.
So how would I find you on Ancestry?
Terrie Bryant, 73.
Awesome. Thank you. I'll look. Because I definitely have Hannah's, and my great grandmother was a Hannah. My second great grandmother was a Hannah.
That's
Lucy.
interesting. Very interesting.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else with a question?
I have a question.
Who am I speaking to?
This is Dr. Clay.
Hello, Dr. Clay. It's good to see you.
Likewise, uh, the cemetery, the formations or the symbols that represent those who are buried there, what kind of formations are we looking at? Are we looking at rocks? Are we looking at stones? Or anything of greater significance than that?
Yes, sir. At the cemetery, what I've learned since we've been clearing over the last couple of years, we started off with an archaeologist from Marion University. And one thing that you do not do is take away what they call the graveyard goods. For
Mm.
example, at the Hanna Cemetery, there are old bottles. There are for example, flowers, like the sponge that the flowers was in. We've ran across some of that at some sites. And this could be the only thing that the person may had at the time as a marker. And so it's very important not to just, in my particular case with the Hanna Cemetery, we're going to save the graveyard goods that we find. We're going to leave them there. Um, in order for it to maintain its historic look anyway. So
Thank you.
yes, you could find a rock. Yes, that's a possibility. You could find a jar, you could find a saucer, some type of glassware, because these were the only things that they had at the time to mark
Yeah.
back during that period. Dr. Clay, yes.
Thank you, Dr. Clay. We have another of a statement rather in the chat from Lisa Henderson. It says, "Good afternoon, Dr. Gaskins-Bryant. As a kindred spirit, I want to thank you for your work. I maintain a 7,500 post blog focused on documenting the history and genealogy of African American families in Wilson County, North Carolina, and founded the Lane Street Project, which works to reclaim 3 African American cemeteries in Wilson."
Wow, that's awesome. I commend you for your work, Ms. Henderson.
Thank you so much. As it's a ministry, as you know.
Oh, it is most definitely.
Yeah. So I often encourage people to focus on what they know, as I'm sure you know,
Yes,
pick a
ma'am.
place and focus on that place. And it's amazing how much material there is, how much there is to share and discover. And so again, thank you for your work.
Thank you for your work as well.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
And Vicky has another question. She said, "Has the cemetery had ground penetrating radar done to locate
No,
graves?"
no, but we are in the process. I've written a grant to have that done, and hopefully we will have an answer maybe late May or June whether the grant went through to have the GPS, GPR work done. We have selected the archaeologist in Charleston. And so if everything works out well, we should be by the fall, maybe have the GPR, GPS work done. Mainly we doing it to we would like to do it because of there are a lot of graves that have depressions. So we don't want to disturb it. So we need to know where these graves are located at. Which is very, very significant to the project at the moment.
Mhm. And there's another question. Is the cemetery private or publicly owned? Is it or has it ever been part of a church?
No, it has never been part of a church. And most recently, I spoke with the property owner and he sold it to us trustees for $5. We had to get it surveyed. He would only allow where we could see the graves surveyed, although initially it was a 2-acre cemetery.
Mhm.
So he only allowed us to survey what was seen and pretty much told us where where the survey markers would go. And so we end up with 0.56 acres of the cemetery. There's another part to it, the Cameron Cemetery, which was 2 acres, and they ended up with 0.7 acres, those trustees. So it's fragmented, but the history is still there. There's nothing in between the Hanna Cemetery and the Cameron Cemetery but woods. But
Mhm.
the owner will not give that part up for whatever reason.
Cool. Um, 2 questions from Sharon Stiles. Is there a list of names of those buried in the cemetery? And also, have descendant families visited since the cleanup started?
Okay, the first question, there are some graves that are marked. The first research I did was search for death certificates, and I have, I think, about 50 death certificates, and we've only been able to locate it by name. I'm guessing now, okay, probably 11 or 12 by
Mhm.
name we were able to locate. So there are many unmarked graves out there.
Okay.
And the second question, go again, Dr. Johnson, was
Have descendant families visited since the cleanup started?
yes, they're coming more.
Okay.
Yes, because the whole area was wooded and the word has gotten out and they're interested in each time we have a clearing, our population increases with descendants.
Mhm. And I'd like to know, have you considered, like a community reunion as a part of, your findings?
Yes, yes, what we would like to do at the end is do just like what you said, is to bring everybody together and have a feast and perhaps have a little presentation of the work that how we started and how, where we are, at that, how did we get to the final point of it, if not before then.
Okay. And Deborah Robinson just posed the question that I was going to ask as well.
Okay.
What's the oldest marked grave in the cemetery?
The oldest one would be my great grandfather. His name is Gus Hanna, and he passed in 1926, according to the research and the death certificates that I could find. He was born in like 1835 or something like that, so he was born into slavery.
Hmm. In terms of oral histories, how have oral history been important in recovering some of the history of the cemetery?
Oral histories have been great because the descendants are starting to remember now, and they share information each time they come to the clearing. And so I try to document that, at that time. And also what we're in the process of doing through the Lynches Lake Historical Society, we will start doing oral histories, bringing descendants in or folks in that have information about the area and the cemetery. Like, for example, one guy said he remembered that him and his mother used to go there to clean the cemetery, but they would just take scissors and just you know,
Mhm.
clip, just clip certain areas because that's all that they had.
Wow. Wow. And we have here from Lisa Henderson, a possible suggestion, excuse me.
Okay.
We organized reconsecration for the public cemetery we work with, which proved a powerful experience for the descendant community. Um, so that's a suggestion from Lisa Henderson. Also, Sharon wants to know what are other surnames besides Hannah of those buried at the cemetery?
Other surveys that's been done
Yes.
with the Cameron Cemetery, maybe she's speaking of that. That's like the other part to the Hanna Cemetery
Okay.
yeah, the Cameron Cemetery, they have their own trustees,
Mm-hmm.
and so their land is very well landscaped.
Mm-hmm.
Is very well compared to the Hanna Cemetery. But at the same time, I don't think they realized when they cleared it, they took a lot of the graveyard goods away.
Yeah.
And so, but they found out now because they are helping us with the
Mm-hmm.
Hanna Cemetery, that they're learning. So I would advise people to get educated on graveyard goods, the things that are, in the graveyard that are very significant and important, like holly trees or
Mm-hmm.
we found holly trees. We found certain types of plants that people may have planted for their loved one. Um, and grass, certain type of grass grows around the grave.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think we had was it daffodils?
Mm-hmm.
Daffodils.
And also,
So
what are other last names of people
we
interred?
have, okay, for in my particular case, my search began when I was looking for my grandmother, and her name is Katie Cockfield Hanna.
Mm-hmm.
And so Cockfields, Camerons, we found Bradfords, Jones, and I think that's about it for now that we've
Okay.
located so far. Now, we did set up a find a grave
Okay.
under the Hanna Cemetery for Lake City, South Carolina. So folks want to go in under find a grave. There is a white Hanna Cemetery that's on Queens Road. That's not it. It would be, it would be when you go on to find a grave, just put in the African American Cemetery and hopefully it'll pop up. There'll be about 50 death certificates there.
Okay. Also, there's a question. Is the cemetery difficult to reach from the
If,
road?
and if you're not familiar, you would probably ride right past it because it's off the highway and you have to cut through the property owner's yard. There's a big house, a big white house, and you have to cut through their yard like a little dirt driveway and go to the end. And then when you get to the end, you think that that's it because it's wooded, but then you have to hook a right and then a quick left, and there's another little road there. And you go down that little road, and to the right would be the Hanna Cemetery, and it's wooded. But then if you keep driving on that same little road, you'll get to Cameron Cemetery, which is very well landscaped. You have to turn around and come back out the same way you went in. Go down, turn around, and come back out.
And we have a question here, hand raised. Shahida Ahmad. I hope I said your name correctly.
Uh, uh, Thank you. Uh, my name is Shahida, and
Mhm.
I am interested um, in similar work. So I've been doing surveying um, cemeteries, and most of them are very much out of current use. But what I wanted to know is, in your work with this particular cemetery, what I've found is that sometimes there are like uns not unspoken, but cultural rules that may be attached to cemetery plots and burials. For instance, where my mother is from, in the coastal region of South Carolina, um, people were allowed to bury their children under the father's family, and then they were given a certain amount of plots. And then if, say they have 12 or more children, it could be cumbersome. After a certain number of plots, then they were allowed to be buried on the mother's side of the family. And so I was wondering if there are, like, maybe not that exact workup, but if have you found in oral histories or in any type of caretaker roles for these cemeteries that there may be some cultural expectations for who gets buried where?
Yes, ma'am. In fact, we just discovered at our last clearing, which was a few weeks ago, there's a grave, and it was Bradford's. And then go past, we found another grave that was covered up, but it didn't have a name on it. And we went past, it was a row. And so they seem like at this particular cemetery, they buried in rows. And then we found another grave beside the one that didn't have a name, and her name was inscribed actually in the cement part of the grave. And her first name, they called her Mrs. Maddie. And so after doing a couple of hours research, I was able to locate her death certificate and found out who her relative was. And so Moses Bradford was her brother. So we're starting to find scattered graves, and then there's some that has rows. So, and then another culture aspect that we saw, this one grave, it sits off to itself. It's not even like associated with the rest of the scattered graves, and it has a large tombstone. And on the tombstone, there's an anchor. So I felt like that was something culturally, that meant something. Miss Jones, she has an anchor on her tombstone. So a lot of times you have to look at the stone if they have it and see if any kind of marks or anything on there. But we're still doing that part of the research. Um, as far as the cultural aspect of it, we're finding different scattered graves, graves turns different ways, anchors. And I think on one of the slides I showed you, there was one that had an open Bible. It was an open Bible, this one. And it has the metal plate, but the metal plate, if you see, the metal plate doesn't have a name on it. It's been washed away.
All right. Well, I'm gonna take over from Dr. Johnson because he needs to leave
Okay, thank you, Dr.
for
Johnson.
a
Okay.
scheduled thing. But the next question we have is, what are the next steps for the cemetery?
The next steps for the cemetery, we'll continue to clear. And as fast as we clear, grass is growing up, okay, on the parts that we clear. So now we're starting to get into maintenance, and we're also starting to get into what we call a perpetual plan. Because the grass is growing up, we're on one side of the cemetery, we're clearing that. So my thoughts are, okay, well, we need to start doing something with the grass, trimming it or something, so it won't grow back up like the way that it used to be. So that's kind of what we face with right now. We still have about, I'm gonna guess 25% of the cemetery to clear. So we go in, we drag stuff out. We use precision tools. We don't use like heavy duty tools or anything like that because we don't want to disturb what's there, what the graves. Something very significant could be. Don't want to miss it. And so that's kind of where we're at right now. After
So,
the
yeah,
clearing,
sorry.
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, after the clearing, simultaneously working on a perpetual plan to keep the cemetery up.
Our next comment is by the person who asked about the cultural practices, Miss Ahmad. She
Yes.
says, very interesting. I have a family line who is buried in rows as well. I have seen where they are done in a specific order, perhaps date or relationship. My grandmother requested to be buried next to certain trees. Wow.
Oh, that's interesting.
And we have another question
Okay.
by Sharon Stiles. Did you mention if there were any indication of who their enslavers might have been?
Oh, yes, we know who the enslavers were. Hugh Hanna, his name was Hugh Hanna. He was Irish. He fought in the American Revolutionary War, and he had about 6,000 acres along that highway. And that's how it all got started. He was enslaver. So there was a plantation. The Hannas and the Camerons, they worked the plantation as well, and others. But you got to remember, a lot of them just had first names; they didn't have last names, you know. And so they would, had a choice, I guess, of um keeping their last name or changing their name to something else. But yes, we do know who the enslaver was.
All right. Is there any other questions or comments from folks for Dr. Gaskins-Bryant?
Now, I don't mind if folks want my email, Dr. Thomas, I don't mind.
Okay,
And
can put it in the chat. Let's see. Do you have any concluding messages that you'd like to share, Dr. Gaskins-Bryant?
only that it doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. We went in thinking that, oh, we're going to get the cemetery cleared and then we can put down, mulch and stuff like that. And, we won't even be able to get to the mulch part of it because once we got in there and saw exactly what was in there, we have to do more clearing. Um, in fact, I had a grant to put mulch, in certain areas, and I requested it to be reallocated because we're still dragging stuff out, limbs and stuff like that. That stuff has to be hauled off. And so my grant was approved to be reallocated to continue the clearing, so just don't be surprised if you're going into a heavy wooded or abandoned cemetery. But the thing about it's just a great feeling to go in and see a marker of some type, even if the name is not on there. It was just a great feeling for me. And one of those graves could be my grandmother. I don't know.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Gaskins-Bryant, for sharing this information and for all the work that you're doing to preserve the cemetery.
Yes, ma'am.
We really appreciate you doing this Lemons Legacies Porch Talk. And this is our last Porch Talk of the semester. So our next event is Dawning of the Kente. for graduating William Mary students on May 15th. Y'all are all welcome to come. We're planning on having our regular summer Sankofa genealogy workshop in the summer, but that's not scheduled yet. We're also planning on resuming the porch talks in the fall, and we're working on getting the date for next year's symposium. So be on the lookout for all that information. And thank you again, Dr. Gaskins-Bryant, and thank you everyone for
Thanks for
coming.
the questions, everyone. And please email me. I would love to stay in touch with you. Thank you.
Put the website and your email address in the chat.
Good. I appreciate that very much, Dr. Thomas. Thank y'all.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye-bye.